roles from the Town of Us Reworked mod. I don't have permission to put the link in the description, but the mod is called Town of Us Reworked. It's an Among Us mod. Very cool. You guys should check it out. Anyways, the crew is a faction whose goal is, well, if you've ever played Among Us, heard of Among Us, or watched YouTubers play Among Us, you guys know what the crew's goal is. Eject the imposters off the ship or finish their tasks, which results in an automatic win. The altruist is a crewmate protective role that is capable of reviving dead players. After a set period of time, the player will be revived if the revival is not interrupted. Once a player is revived, all evil players will be notified of the revival and will have an arrow pointing towards the revived player. The altruist sacrifices themselves on the last use of their ability. If the revived player has a lover and both die together, the lover is also revived. The Bastion is a crewmate killing role that can place bombs in vents. Anyone who tries to interact with the bombed vent will die. Sorry about the off-center camera placement for that one. But, Chameleon is a crewmate support role, and the Chameleon can go invisible to stalk players and see what they do when no one is around. The Coroner is a crewmate investigative role that gets an alert when someone dies and briefly gets an arrow pointing in the direction of the body. They can autopsy bodies to get some information. The Coroner can then compare that information with players to see if they killed the body or not. They also get body reports from the bodies they report. The report will include the cause and time of death, the body's faction or role, the killer's faction or role, and according to the settings, the killer's name. The Coroner will not get any information if they report a body when blinded by a grenader, and framed players will always appear to be the killer. The crewmate's just a normal crewmate, nothing special about it. The detective is a crewmate investigative role that can examine other players for bloody hands and footprints. If the examined player has killed recently, the detective will be alerted about it. Once examined, the player's footprints will be visible to the detective. Framed players will always appear to have bloody hands. The Dictator is a crewmate sovereign role that has no active ability aside from revealing themselves as the dictator to all players. When revealed in the next meeting, they can pick up to 3 players to be ejected. All 3 players will be killed at the end of the meeting, along with the chosen 4th player anyone else votes on, if any. If any of the 3 killed players happens to be crew, the Dictator dies with them. The Dictator has no post-ejection ability. A revealed Dictator cannot be protected but can be revived. The Engineer is a crewmate support role that can fix sabotages from anywhere on the map, and use vents to get across the map easily. The Escort, which, to be honest, should be renamed to Tavern Keeper, is a crewmate support role that can roadblock players and prevent them from doing anything for a short time. The Mayor is a crewmate sovereign role that can reveal themselves as the mayor to other players. Upon doing so, the value of their vote increases. A revealed mayor cannot be protected, but can be revived. The Medic is a crewmate protective role that can give any player a shield that will grant them powerful defense. The Medic can choose who to give their shield to and can take their shield back if needed. Shielded players have a green plus next to their name. The Medium is a crewmate investigative role that can mediate to be able to see ghosts. If the Medium uses this ability, the Medium and the dead player will be able to see each other and communicate with actions from beyond the grave. The Monarch is a crewmate sovereign role which can appoint players as knights. When the next meeting is called, all knighted players will be announced. Knighted players will have the value of their votes increased. For as long as a knight is alive, the Monarch gets basic defense. Knighted players have a pinkish red K next to their names. The Monarch is alerted when a knight dies. The Mystic is a crewmate auditor role that only spawns when there is at least one neutral neophyte role present in the game. Whenever someone's subfaction is changed, the Mystic will be alerted about it. Mystic can also investigate players to see if their subfactions have been changed. If the target belongs to a subfaction, or that the target's subfaction is different from the Mystic's, in the case of a converted Mystic, the Mystic screen will flash red, otherwise it will flash green. It will not, however, work on the neutral neophyte roles themselves, so even people who flash green might still be evil. Once all subfactions are dead, the Mystic becomes a Seer. Framed players will appear to have their subfactions changed. The Operative is a crewmate investigative role that can place bugs around the map. When players enter the range of a bug and stay within it for a certain amount of time, they trigger it. In the following meeting, all players who triggered a bug will have their role displayed to the Operative. However, this is done so in a random order, not stating who entered the bug, nor what role a specific player is. The Operative also gains more information when on Admin Table and on Vitals. On Admin Table, the Operative can see the colors of every player on the map. When on Vitals, the Operative is shown how long someone has been dead for. The Retributionist is a crewmate support role that can mimic dead crewmates. During meetings, the Retributionist can select who they are going to mimic for the following round from the dead. It should be noted the Retributionist cannot use all crew roles and cannot use any non-crew role. The cooldowns, limits, and everything will be set by the settings for their respective roles. The Revealer is a crewmate utility role that is a dead crew. Upon finishing all their tasks, the evils, and possibly their roles, will be revealed to all other alive players. However, if the Revealer is clicked, they lose their ability to reveal evils and are once again a normal ghost. The Seer is a crewmate investigative role that only spawns if there are roles capable of changing their initial roles, or if there is a traitor or a fanatic in the game. The Seer can investigate players to see if their role is different from what they started out as. If a player's role has changed, the Seer's screen will flash red, otherwise it will flash green. If all players capable of changing or have changed their initial roles are dead, the Seer becomes a Sheriff. Framed players will appear to have their role changed. The Sheriff is a crewmate investigative role that can reveal the alliance of other players. Based on settings, the Sheriff can find out whether a player is good or evil. The Sheriff's screen will flash green or red depending on the results and settings. Framed players will appear to be evil. Promoted Godfathers and Rebels will not appear to be evil. The Shifter is a crewmate support role that can swap roles with someone as long as they are a valid crew. If the shift is unsuccessful or the target is framed, the Shifter dies. The Tracker is a crewmate investigative role that can track others during a round. Once they track someone, an arrow is continuously pointing to them, which updates in set intervals. The Transporter is a crewmate support role that can swap the locations of two players at will. Being transported plays an animation that's visible to all players and renders the targets immobile for the duration of the transportation. During the transportation, they can be targeted by anyone, even those of their own team. This means that the Transporter is capable of making evils attack each other. The Trapper is a crewmate protective role that can build traps and place them on other players. These traps will either register an interactor's role or attack an attacker. At the start of the next meeting, the Trapper is told whether they attacked someone or not. If not, the Trapper gets a list of roles that interacted with the trap targets in a random order. The Vampire Hunter is a crewmate auditor role that only spawns if there are undead in the game. They can check players to see if they are an undead. When the Vampire Hunter finds them, the target is killed. Otherwise, they only interact and nothing else happens. When all undead are dead, the Vampire Hunter turns into a Vigilante. Interacting with a Vampire Hunter as an undead will force the Vampire Hunter to kill you. Framed players will behave like an undead to the Vampire Hunter. The Vampire Hunter knows if the target they actually killed is an undead or not. The Veteran is a crewmate killing role that can go on alert. Anyone who interacts with a veteran on alert will be killed by the veteran. Although the tagline is quite... yeah. The Vigilante is a crewmate killing role that can kill. However, if they kill someone, they shouldn't. They instead kill themselves. Framed players are guaranteed to die without the risk of the Vigilante misfiring. On to the neutral roles. Each member of this faction has their own unique way to win, separate from the other roles in the same faction. The main theme of this faction is free-for-all. This faction is an uninformed minority of the game, meaning they make up a small part of the crew while not knowing who the other members are. Each role is unique in its own way. Some can be helpful, some exist to destroy others, and some just exist exist for the sake of existing. The actor is a neutral evil role that gets a list of roles at the start of the game. Alternatively, the actor can pick a player to add their role to the role list, and the rest of the role list is filtered and filled. This list of roles depends on which roles are present in the game. The actor must pretend to be and get guessed as one of the roles in order to win. The Amnesiac is a neutral benign role that is essentially role-less and cannot win without remembering the role of a dead player. When there is only 4 players left, the Amnesiac becomes a thief. The Arsonist is a neutral killing role that can douse players with gasoline. After dousing, the Arsonist can choose to ignite all doused players, which kills all doused players at once. Upon igniting, the Arsonist may cremate a body, leaving behind unreportable ash that is visible to all players. The Arsonist has basic defense when they have, at most, 2 players doused. The Betrayer is a neutral proselyte role that is a simple killer who appears after a turned traitor or fanatic was the only member of their new faction remaining. This role does not spawn directly. The Bounty Hunter is a neutral evil role that is assigned a target at the start of the game. Alternatively, the Bounty Hunter can request a target from someone. That someone must pick a target with the next 2 rounds, or else they will become the Bounty Hunter's target instead. Every meeting, the Bounty Hunter is given clues to who their target might be. They do not know who the target is and must find them via a series of clues and limited guesses. Upon finding their target within the set amount of guesses, the guess button becomes a kill button. The Bounty Hunter's target always knows that there is a bounty on their head. If the Bounty Hunter is unable to find their target within the number of guesses, or the target dies not by the Bounty Hunter's hands, Bounty Hunter becomes a troll. The Cannibal is a neutral evil role that can eat the body, which wipes it away like the janitor. If they eat a certain number of bodies, they win. The Cryomaniac is a neutral killing role that can douse players in coolant and freeze them, similar to the Arsonist dousing in gasoline and ignite. Freezing players does not immediately kill doused targets. Instead, when the next meeting is called, all currently doused players will die. When the Cryomaniac is the last killer, or when the final number of players reaches a certain threshold, the Cryomaniac may also directly kill. Doused players have a purple upside-down Y next to their names. The Cryomaniac has basic defense when they have at most 2 players doused. The Dracula is a neutral neophyte role, who is the only undead that directly spawns in. The Dracula is the leader of the undead who can convert others into an undead. If the target cannot be converted, they will be attacked instead. The Dracula must watch out for the Vampire Hunter, as attempting to convert them will cause the Vampire Hunter to kill the Dracula. The Executioner is a neutral evil role that has no abilities and instead must use gaslighting techniques to get their target ejected. The Executioner's target by default is always non-crew, sovereign crew. Alternatively, the Executioner can pick their own target to try and eject. Once their target is ejected, the Executioner can doom those who voted for their target. If the target dies before getting ejected, the Executioner turns into a jester. Their win condition is to live to see their target get ejected. The Glitch is a neutral killing role that can mimic someone, which results in them looking exactly like the other person. They can kill normally. The Glitch can also hack a player, rendering them unable to use their ability or perform tasks and disabling their defense while gaining powerful defense in return. The Glitch's win condition is to neutralize anyone who can oppose them. The Guardian Angel is a neutral benign role that more or less aligns themselves with the faction of their target. Alternatively, the Guardian Angel can pick their own target to protect. The Guardian Angel will win with anyone as long as their target lives to the end of the game, even if their target loses. If the Guardian Angel's target dies, they become a survivor. The Guardian Angel provides powerful defense to their target when protecting. Their win condition is to have their target live to see the end of the game. The Guesser is a neutral evil role that has no abilities aside from guessing only their target. Every meeting, the guesser is told a hint regarding their target's role. If the target dies not by the guesser's hands, the guesser becomes an actor, with the target role list that of their target's role. Upon guessing their target, the guesser can freely guess anyone. Their win condition is to guess their target's role. The Jackal is a neutral neophyte role that is the leader of the Cabal. They spawn in with 2 recruits at the start of the game. The 2 recruits will always have opposing base win conditions. When both recruits die, the Jackal can then recruit another player to join the Cabal and become the backup recruit. If the target happens to be a member of a rival subfaction, they will be attacked instead. The Jackal's win condition is to bribe the crew into joining their side and eliminate any threats. The Jester is a neutral evil role that has no abilities and must make themselves appear to be evil to the crew and get ejected. After getting ejected, the Jester can haunt those who voted for them, killing them from beyond the grave. The Juggernaut is a neutral killing role whose kill cooldown decreases with every kill they make. When they reach a certain number of kills, the kill cooldown no longer decreases and instead gives them other buffs, like bypassing protections. The Juggernaut's kill power increases with each kill and caps at unstoppable. Their win condition is to assault anyone who can oppose them. The Murderer is a neutral killing role that is just a simple neutral killer with no special abilities, the only role that has both passive defense and attack. Their win condition is to murder anyone who can oppose them. The Necromancer is a neutral neophyte role that is essentially an evil altruist. They can resurrect dead players and make them join the Necromancer's team, the Reanimated. There is a limit to how many times the Necromancer can kill and resurrect players. Reviving someone with a lever when both levers die will revive that lever too. The Necromancer cannot revive the same person twice. The win condition is to bring the dead to their side and gain a majority. The Pestilence is a neutral apocalypse role. When the Pestilence first emerges, every player is given 1 stack of a deadly plague. For every time a player interacts with someone, they will give their target a stack of the deadly plague. However, targeting the Pestilence will give the interactor a stack instead. If a player gets 3 or more stacks, they succumb to the disease. Pestilence can spread the disease directly to a player, overriding their stacks and directly giving their target 4 stacks, killing them instantly. Stacks cannot be spread to neutral Harbinger or Apocalypse roles. The Phantom is a neutral proselyte role that spawns when a neutral player dies without accomplishing their objective. They become half invisible and have to complete all their tasks without getting clicked on to win. Their win condition is to finish their tasks without getting clicked or having the game end. The Plague Bearer is a neutral Harbinger role that can infect other players. Once infected, the infected player can go and infect other players via interacting with them. Once all players are infected, the Plague Bearer becomes the Pestilence. Their win condition is to infect everyone and turn into Pestilence or live to the end by killing off anyone who can oppose them. The Serial Killer is a neutral killing role that has a kill button, but they can't use it unless they are in Bloodlust. Once the Serial Killer is in Bloodlust, they gain the ability to kill. However, unlike most killers, their kill cooldown is really short for the duration of the Bloodlust. The Serial Killer gets basic defense when in Bloodlust. Their win condition is to stab anyone who can oppose them. The Survivor is a neutral benign role that wins by simply surviving. They can vest, which makes them immortal for a short duration. Their win condition is to live to see the end of the game. The Thief is a neutral benign role that can kill players to steal their role. The player, however, must be a role with the ability to kill, otherwise the Thief will die. After stealing their target's role, the Thief can now win as whatever role they have become. The Thief can also guess players in meetings to steal their roles. The win condition is to kill a killer and win as their role. The Troll is a neutral evil role that just wants to be killed but not ejected. The Troll can interact with players. This interaction does nothing, it just triggers any interaction-sensitive roles like Veteran and Pestilence. Killing the Troll makes the Troll kill their killer. The win condition is to get killed. The Werewolf is a neutral killing role that can kill all players within a certain radius. The Werewolf cannot attack on the first and third rounds but gets basic defense in exchange. Their win condition is to maul anyone who can oppose them. The Whisperer is a neutral neophyte role that can whisper to all players within a certain radius. With each whisper, the chances of bringing someone over to the Whisperer's side increases until they convert. Their win condition is to persuade others into joining the cult. The Intruder is just Imposter renamed to Intruder, and you guys already know what the Imposters do. The Ambusher is an Intruder killing role that can temporarily force anyone to go on alert, killing anyone who interacts with the Ambusher's target. Attacks via ambush deal a basic attack to the interactor. Ambushers also give their targets powerful defense. The Blackmailer is an Intruder concealing role that can blackmail people. Blackmailed players cannot speak during the next meeting. The Camouflager is an Intruder concealing role that can camouflage all players at once, turning them all gray and anonymous. The Consigliere is an Intruder support role that can reveal people's roles. They cannot guess those they revealed. The Consort is an Intruder support role that can roadblock players and prevent them from doing anything for a short while. They behave just like an escort, but the Consort can roadblock from any range. The Disguiser is an Intruder deception role that can disguise other players. At the beginning of each round, they can choose someone to measure. They can then disguise the next nearest person into the measured person for a limited amount of time after a short delay. The Enforcer is an Intruder killing role that can plant bombs on players. After a short while, their target will be alerted to the bomb's presence and must kill someone to get rid of it. If they fail to do so within a certain time limit, the bomb will explode, killing everyone within its vicinity. Bomb explosions deal powerful attacks to all victims, and a bombed player will deal a basic attack to their target. The Ghoul is an Intruder utility role that is a dead Intruder. Every round, the Ghoul can mark a player for death. All players are told who is marked, and the marked player will die at the end of the next meeting. The only way to save the marked player is to kill the Ghoul, click the Ghoul that marked them. The Godfather is an Intruder head role that can only spawn in 3+ Intruder games. They can choose to promote a fellow Intruder to Mafioso. When the Godfather dies, the Mafioso becomes the new Godfather and has lowered cooldowns. The Grenadier is an Intruder concealing role that can throw flash grenades, which blind nearby players. However, a sabotage and a flash grenade cannot be active at the same time. Do I really need to explain that one? The Janitor is an Intruder concealing role that can drag, drop, and clean bodies. Both their kill and clean ability usually have a shared cooldown, meaning they have to choose which one they want to use. The Mafioso is an Intruder utility role that is promoted from a non-Godfather Intruder role. The Mafioso by themselves is nothing special, but when the Godfather dies, the Mafioso becomes the new Godfather. As a result, the new Godfather has a lower cooldown on all of their original role's abilities. The Miner is an Intruder support role that can create new vents. These vents only connect to each other, forming a new passageway, but on the fungal map, the Miner is named Herbalist. The Morphling is an Intruder deception role that can morph into another player. During the round, they can choose someone to sample. They can then morph into the sampled person at any time for a limited amount of time. The Teleporter is an Intruder support role that can mark a location which they can teleport to later. The Wraith is an Intruder deception role that can temporarily turn invisible. The Syndicate is a new faction. Each member of this faction has a special ability, and then after a certain number of meetings can also kill. The main theme of this faction is chaos. This faction is an informed minority, meaning they make up a tiny fraction of the crew and know who the other members are. After a certain number of meetings, the Syndicate can retrieve the Chaos Drive, which gives the holder the ability to kill if they couldn't already, while also enhancing their existing abilities. The Chaos Drive holder deals a basic attack to targets. The Anarchist is a Syndicate utility role that has no abilities and only spawns if all the other roles are taken or set to spawn in custom mode. Its only benefit is its ability to kill from the beginning of the game. The Banshee is a Syndicate utility role that is a dead Syndicate. The Banshee can block every non-Syndicate player every once in a while. This role cannot get the Chaos Drive. The Bomber is a Syndicate killing role that can place a bomb which can be remotely detonated at any time. Anyone caught inside the bomb's radius at the time of the detonation will be killed. Only the latest placed bomb will detonate, unless the Bomber holds the Chaos Drive, with which they can detonate all bombs at once. Bomb detonation deals a powerful attack to victims. The Concealer is a Syndicate disruption role that can make a player invisible for a short while. With the Chaos Drive, this applies to everyone. The Crusader is a Syndicate killing role that can temporarily force anyone to go on alert, killing anyone who interacts with the Crusader's target. With the Chaos Drive, attempting to interact with the Crusader's target will cause the target to kill everyone within a certain range, including the target themselves. Crusades give the target powerful defense and attack interactors with a basic attack. A radial Crusade attack via the Chaos Drive deals a powerful attack to all victims. The Collider is a Syndicate killing role that can mark players as positive and negative. If these charged players come within a certain distance of each other, they will die together. With the Chaos Drive, the Collider can charge themselves to collide with the other charged players. This only kills the charged victim. The range of collision also increases with the Chaos Drive. Collisions deal a powerful attack to charged targets. The Drunkard is a Syndicate disruption role that can reverse a player's controls for a short while. With the Chaos Drive, this applies to everyone. The Framer is a Syndicate disruption role that can frame players, making them appear to be evil or have wrong results. This effect lasts as long as the Framer is alive. With the Chaos Drive, the Framer can frame players within a certain radius. Framed players will have their results altered to investigative roles, and allows them to die to killers like the Vigilante and Assassin early. The Poisoner is a Syndicate killing role that can poison a player instead of killing them. When they poison a player, the poisoned player dies either upon the start of the next meeting or after a certain duration. With the Chaos Drive, the Poisoner can poison a player from anywhere. Poisoned players are dealt a basic attack astrally. The Rebel is a Syndicate power role that can only spawn in 3+ Syndicate games. They can choose to promote a fellow Syndicate to this sidekick. When the Rebel dies, the sidekick becomes the new Rebel and has lowered cooldowns. With the Chaos Drive, the Rebel gains the improved abilities of their former role. The Shapeshifter is a Syndicate disruption role that can swap the appearance of 2 players. With the Chaos Drive, everyone's appearances are shuffled. The Sidekick is a Syndicate utility role that is promoted from a non-Rebel Syndicate role. The Sidekick by themselves is nothing special, but when the Rebel dies, the Sidekick becomes the new Rebel. As a result, the new Rebel has a lowered cooldown on all of their original role's abilities. The Silencer is a Syndicate disruption role that can silence people. Silenced players cannot see the messages being sent by others, but can still talk. Other players can still talk, but can't get their info through to the silenced player. With the Chaos Drive, silence prevents everyone except for the silenced player from talking. The Spellslinger is a Syndicate power role that is a powerful role who can cast curses on players. When all non-Syndicate players are cursed, the game ends in a Syndicate victory. With each spell cast, the Spellbind cooldown increases. This effect is negated by the Chaos Drive. The Stalker is a Syndicate support role that is a buffed tracker with no update interval. With the Chaos Drive, the arrows are no longer affected by camouflages, and all players instantly have an arrow pointing to them. The Timekeeper is a Syndicate disruption that can control time. Without the Chaos Drive, the Timekeeper can freeze time, making everyone unable to move, and with it, the Timekeeper rewinds players instead. The Warper is a Syndicate support role that can teleport a player to another player. With the Chaos Drive, the Warper teleports everyone to random positions on the map. Warping a player makes them unable to move and plays an animation. During warping, they can be targeted by anyone, opening up the possibility of team killing.